Are you a recent design grad? Did you just finish a boot camp? You may be on the hunt for the latest design trends, UX research, best practices, maybe accessibility principles or new techniques on how to build micro interactions and whatever the newest tool du jour is. I don't have those things, but I do think I've got something that will be just as valuable in your UX journey, so stick around. What's up, UX fam? How's your mom and them? I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jeremy. My friends call me Jay Mills. My kids call me Dad. My wife calls me whatever the hell she wants, and my dog just stares at me funny when he wants to go outside. I can't tell you how excited I am to have you join me on this little podcast adventure on which I am about to embark. My plan for this podcast is to help everybody out there just starting out in their UX journey to avoid some of the pitfalls that I fell for when I first started out nearly 20 years ago. God, it's crazy to say that out loud. The tagline for this show is, "You're more than a designer because there's more to UX than design." And you may be asking, Jeremy, what the hell are you talking about? What do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. I've been mentoring an ADP list for a while now. Hasn't been all that long, but in the short time I've been meeting with young designers from all over the world, I have noticed a trend. And this is especially true for recent grads, boot camp or otherwise. The trend is that they are laser focused on hard skills. Generally speaking, obviously, not everybody's like this. And this manifests itself in a lot of the portfolios I review. I see a lot of case studies that look like I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, the end. As if, they're checking a box off of a list or something. Interviews, check. Personas, check. Journey map, check. Wireframes, check. Usability study, check. And doing those things are all well and good. But it's critical as a UX designer to understand how those things result in great experience for users and why. And here's what I mean by you're more than a designer. In schools, books, boot camps, whatever, you're taught an ideal scenario, a happy path for how design should be done, a certain order of things. We do those things in the right order and somehow, magically, an app is made. But here's the thing. That is very rarely how it works in the real world. In the real world, you pick up where other people left off, and we have to deal with people, a lot of people. And that makes building really great software extremely difficult. You may have heard some of these stereotypes. The pushy stakeholder with unrealistic expectations. The product manager who can't say no to the pushy stakeholder. The manager who gives unrealistic deadlines. The blind as a bat QA engineer. The software engineer who just wants to code in the dark alone with a 2-liter of Mountain Dew. And if you run into these stereotypes, the hard skills that you're working to master right now won't matter one bit, I can promise you. So in this podcast, we won't be talking about how to craft research studies, how to craft personas, how to craft the perfect wireframes or mockups in Figma or whatever. We're not going to talk about design or accessibility best practices. We will be talking about all those soft skills that help turn those other things into real value for end users, like how to build relationships with your team, how to tell great stories, how to influence stakeholders, how to network, how to influence decision-making, how to grow as a leader. At the end of the day, a beautiful, fancy Figma prototype might be beautiful and amazing, but that design is completely useless if you can't work with your team to get it built and pushed to production. The soft skills we're going to talk about in this show will be what helps make that beautiful Figma prototype a reality. The soft skills in conjunction with the hard skills. So there's more to UX design than simply doing the research, creating maps or personas or creating wireframes. Sometimes we have to be more than designers. Sometimes we need to be strategic thinkers. Sometimes we need to be relationship builders. Sometimes we need to be storytellers. Sometimes we need to be politicians, students, facilitators, documentarians, leaders, influencers, mentors, allies, partners, diplomats. It's nearly impossible to get the mind-numbingly difficult work of building and releasing high-quality software to users if we're only focused on the hard skills and completely ignoring the importance of the soft skills. In my years of experience, I've seen UX teams get a lot more done with soft skills than they ever do with hard skills. There is so much more to this job than simply design, and we really need to leverage those soft skills if we ever hope to improve the lives of our end users. Now, I want one thing to be abundantly clear. Those hard skills that make you good at your craft are critical. If you don't understand the fundamentals, if you don't understand the rules, the laws, the tools, if you don't know how to actually do the job, soft skills won't help you. Just remember that. All those hard skills are important, and lots of other authors and UX thought leaders out there can help with all those things. So I really don't think I'll add a ton to that conversation. I also think I'd basically be repeating stuff from people like Jared Spool, Don Norman, Darren Hood, Debbie Levitt, Stephen Gates, or any of the other big UX influencers online. And lastly, I just want to express my heartfelt gratitude for giving this show a chance. I really, really, really appreciate it. There are a ton of UX podcasts out there. Some are good, some are bad, some are valuable. All of them have something different to say, and I know that you have options, and I can't tell you how much it means to me that you're here, hopefully taking a few nuggets of wisdom away and improving how you work. I believe very strongly in this idea of an infinite game, this idea that this game of life, it never ends. There's no finish line. It's not a competition. We're not competing with anybody but ourselves. So to that end, I'm not competing with any other podcast, so I hope that you're also listening to those other shows. There are more than enough ideas and content to consume, and there is more than enough left to go around. So going forward, I hope this show is part of your library of many great tools available out there. I hope this show helps you to learn how to become a truly great and effective UX professional that the rest of your team looks to for guidance. So if all that sounds like something you'd be into, please make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And after you've listened to a few episodes and you think I'm onto something, leave me a 5-star review. That would be huge. Help me out way more than you could possibly imagine. And if at some point you feel like you know somebody who could get something out of what we're talking about, by all means, please, please, please share it. So if you think you're getting something out of the show, share it in your work Slack channel, share it on LinkedIn, wherever you get your social media dopamine hit. And if you ever have any feedback from me, suggestions, honest critique, things you'd like to hear me talk about, or questions you want me to answer, hit me up at hello@beyonduxdesign.com. Find me on LinkedIn and tell me hi. So until next time, y'all, remember, you're more than a designer because there is so much more to UX than design. I'll see you around.